Also a game that hasn't been without chances, and for Kaizer Chiefs, I guess some of their best opportunities have come from Royal AM mistakes. Mabuza failing to sense Modi behind him. No ball slipping as the long ball came through. Nicely cut out. Here's Khamaldeen. Some defending to do. The shot is eventually fired off by a man who found the mark in the previous game, the local Chipper United. At this time, he's turned it wide under pressure from Simango.
Yeah, good defensive work there from Simango. You can see that it's showing him the line, forcing him to have a difficult angle to do anything with it. And also it's very difficult for Tigazi playing on the left hand side, because now he's forced now to play the crosses or to either shoot from an awkward angle. But when he plays on the right hand side, when he plays lopsided, whenever he cuts in, you can actually see the goalpost. You have an option whether to curl it, whether to use your laces, but it's always difficult of a player of this nature to play on the left hand side.
Very impactful off the bench, and he got a lot of goals too, playing 80% of the matches he featured in as a sub. But the departure of Putsani to Kaizer Chiefs means that he's had to shoulder a much bigger role this season. Will be a goal kick. They're not convinced. Royal AM coming to this game, as do Chiefs, with 2 wins out of their last 2 league games. If they were able to get a victory here, it will see them win 3 successive league games for the first time since their maiden season in the top flight 2 years ago. Brilliant ball over the top. Pule Mori, it sat up for him, but just couldn't find a clean connection.
That's the bounce again that actually happened to Dupree. I think because the grass is so thick and so dry, the ball doesn't bounce in your favor. You look at the bounce again, he couldn't actually bring it down properly to be able to hit the target. And you can see he wants to point there, maybe on the grass or something like that, because when I was there doing the build-up, you could tell how thick the grass is. You can tell also how dry it is.
Well, chances are materializing from balls over the top, because Royal AM are not prepared to compromise on their normal playing principles.
Yeah.
I'll give you a statistic from their 2 away games so far after this corner, just to illustrate that point of how they are prepared to fight fire with fire, and a goal for a goal effectively, as Ngobo comes out, falls for Castillo, really sets up from Wallo. Could have been his 4th of the season. That has pinged against the crossbar and over.
I mean, Ngobo does well from the first ball from that corner there. But again, for Royal AM, there's no players outside the box to be able to defend that second ball. You could see there with the Castillo had time, was able to choose a sport, he was able to use the right technique. It's just that unfortunate there, he couldn't score the goal.
Well, a win and a loss in their 2 away games so far this season, Royal AM. And across those 2 games, those 2 away games they've contested, this campaign, 11 goals have been scored. So it kind of speaks to the way they'll go away to an opponent and they'll take it to them.
Yeah, I think that's how John Maduka, being a coach, he is. I think he doesn't believe in sit back and just defend. He always wants to. He enjoys an open game, because he does have the players that will actually go out there and try to cause harm to the opponents. And you can also see as well, just that they haven't had time to put the foot on the ball because of that midfield congestion for Kaizer Chiefs. But John Maduka's style was always to try and attack.
Well, it was under Maduka that they earned that 4-1 win in what was the very first meeting between these 2 sides. Monday will be the 2-year anniversary of that shock result right here at the FNB Stadium.
Yeah.
Played in front of no fans other than the Royal AM management. I think came with a boombox on that, a speaker. Yeah.
I remember that fixture.
There's Gonzalez, just wasn't able to bring it under his spell quickly enough to realize that there were runners on either side of him if he'd been able to turn.
Yeah, I think there's a lot that he still need to adjust to, especially in the pace, with the pace of the PSL. You need to be able, as a striker that wants to hold up the play, you can't hold it too much. You need to one touch to be able to play it off to whoever that is oncoming, to be able to play the third runner. And that's how Kaizer Chiefs normally plays, with all those runners just behind the defenders.
And they're not afraid to take on his man. He's been clipped here by Pule Mori.
Yeah, it's always a tricky customer, clearly. Very skillful, very nippy. Makes it very, very difficult to defend against him. And he's such a brave young player, like as you earlier have alluded. Like, this is his first season, and with all the circumstances now, he's been given a chance, and you can see why he's such a talent. And it'll be interesting to see how far he actually can push, especially this season, knowing that Royal Aim unable to sign any player.
Lifted in, not completely away just yet. Yusuf Mark looks long. Cleverly done. Out on the far side. Sabelo Sitole just turned 21 at the beginning of this month. The youngsters scattered all over the park for Royal AM.
And I guess it's a good thing to see. Royal Aim, when it started, there was a lot of 30-year-olds, 31.
True.
There was not enough youngsters, and with the circumstances that they're facing now, there's a lot of youngsters that are going to be given an opportunity to play. And Grant, if you remember as well, similar situation for Kaizer Chiefs. We are able to see Ngobo being brought in. We were able to see Blom also being brought in because of the youngsters were given an opportunity, because Kaizer Chiefs at the time also they couldn't sign players, so we were forced to recruit and promote young players.
By the way, Royal AM down to 10 men at the moment. You would have seen Mandile Mabuza limping to the dugout. He won't be able to continue alongside Samuel Manganye, and that will necessitate the introduction of, it appears as though Jabulani Kubeni, former Mazulu man, is going to be introduced here. That would mean a reshuffle would be needed at the back, I would assume. Kubeni plays much higher up the field, so let's see how they shake things up. They're still very much up for it. Oh, the visitors attempting to keep the ball as best they can. This is Okhela. Shamaldeen. That one gets away from him, much to his frustration. There's actually number 6, Shadrach Kubedi. That makes a lot more sense. My apologies. He will be the man coming on. Oh, we know him more as a midfield hard man. Kubedi, someone who anchors the midfield, but more than capable of playing that centre-half role alongside Manganye, and will add a bit of passing range to the defensive line that previously it didn't have. Maybe a little more defensive stability in terms of Mabuza being a known centre-half, but Kubedi able to sling those passes forward from where he'll now be playing.
Yeah, and also he can add on into that midfield when in position and become a 6, a deep lying 6 or a deep lying playmaker rather, and then whenever they lose position he can always slot back into the defensive position as a centre-back. So, and also from building from the back, because he's so comfortable on the ball, that might help in terms of rotation of the ball. Just 5 minutes until the half-time interval.
This one ends up at the feet of Mochela, back to Tlamini. Now Yusuf Mart and Modi. Matlo. And across from deep, repelled by Kuberi, his first real involvement so far.
You can see there, the foul that Mahlasela won there, but the runs that Khamaldin was making when Mahlatsi was carrying the ball, I think Mahlatsi, that's one thing about his game as well. While carrying the ball, you need to be able to see the runners, and I think he was making brilliant runs. He just put the ball just beyond there with his run, and that's when you try and turn Kaizer Chiefs defense and try to cause problems, because there's no need as a midfielder just to run with the ball to get into so many numbers and get into trouble. You need to be able to release that ball, and Mahlasela has those capabilities.
Something to chase for Mochela. Svisotlanti takes care of the danger. Toss back in here for Titlokwe, giving him Simango. Still Konika carrying it forward. Quick ball out wide from Gonzalez. And there's a foul from Matlo on William captain Samu Mangani. He gives the thumbs up there, does Mangani. He and Shomochela, the only two players in the Royal AM squad that have now started all 6 of their league games. So a lot of tinkering done by John Maduka as he looks to try and find his strongest team.
You need to, especially from John Maduka's perspective, you need to find some sort of balance. You need to find continuity within the team, and you want to keep changing players, because until you find the right formula that will actually work, and then that's when now you start, you can actually now opening up to try and win as many games as possible. But defensively, I think that's their biggest Achilles this season, and if they can sort that one out, you do have players, you do have young players on the bench that are talented, that can actually blossom this season.
Yeah, they've had to shake up the defence so many times. You contrast that with Kaizer Chiefs, who have been a lot more consistent, especially in defence. Brandon Peterson, Titlokwe Msimango have now started every single league game so far this season. The other players to join them in that regard being Castillo and Mart. Gonzalez brought down by Gubedi. Hoists it in. Obo again has judged the flight of the ball really well. Something he's done several times over the course of this first half. Kaizer Chiefs have consistently looked for Gonzalez towards the back post. That's the player who came steaming in there. At the other end, Roy Lehem with an opportunity. Not a clean connection from Tele. The couple of goals he scored this season have both been excellent. And if he had got that right, it would have been another good one. Maybe didn't expect it to come through to him after Khamaldin couldn't control. Just sliced across it and it skewed off his boot. Brandon Peterson has already denied him today. Peterson making yet another save. No saves in the league, the next best being to be United Stanley Mwabali. And on top of having made the most saves in the league, Brandon Peterson has by far the best save percentage, which with that save earlier would have crept about 90%. This is Gonzalez now, pulling Modi, worked the space to shoot, but not enough of it. Is attempt blocked. Now marked. Maklo. Marked. Looking to carve open some space here. Kaizer Chiefs. We have entered into 3 additional minutes at the end of this first half. Ball with Titi Tuklokwe. Peterson was in goal when they shipped 4 in that first ever meeting, and to Stuart Baxter 2 years ago. Now slung across fields for Pulemodi. The flag was almost immediately raised on the far side. And a fairly easy call to make. Nobo delivers upfield. He turned 30 the day after that chastening 3-1 defeat to Stellenbosch. And they really fell to pieces in the second half at the Harry Gwala Stadium. Of Mart. Just under 30 seconds remaining here. Script clear by Ngobo. Could be one final opportunity. And Gonzalez has the ball taken away from him. The whistle should be forthcoming now. Well, there's been a couple of very close games between these two sides as the half-time whistle blows. A pair of 1-0 wins for Royal AM in what were their second and third meeting. That third ever meeting was the first game of last season. But they have never played out a goalless draw before. It is 0-0 at the break though. Just the second time in a match between worked wide by Kaizer Chiefs. That's a lovely turn. Still Gonzalez continues to power his way into the box. Trying to be a little over elaborate there.
And also, Grant, I think you look at how Kaizer Chiefs are set up today against the team they allow it, and they're playing at home now. Kaizer Chiefs playing against the Royal side that we know defensively they're weak. They've been trying to fix that, and one would think, and one would actually think that with that you would expect Kaizer Chiefs to try and press a little bit higher, to try and impose themselves playing at home and trying to dominate.
So concern in both dugouts here appears to be a head injury for both Gamaldeen and Svisotlanti. So medical staff have been rushed on. You can't take any chances in an instance like this. That's positive. He's rolled himself onto his elbows and he's responsive. Svisotlanti will be helped off the turf. He's been a regular this season. Only league match he's missed was that game against Stellenbosch, and Molifinseki expressly said that he was rested for that match. The workload had, I guess, piled up by that point with an MTN8 quarter-final sandwiched in the mix, and at that point the semi-final first leg against Sundowns coming up.
And I guess also it's going to be the story for most teams this season, where the rest period is so small and there's games back-to-back, and I think once the coaches and the players find ways as to how they use their rest, their recovery in between, and then they'll be able to continue. We've seen that happening in EPL with season in, season out. And I think in South Africa we overuse the word that games are coming thick and fast, but you know the fixtures already by the beginning of the season.
Well, both these sides will be in action midweek. Kaizer Chiefs against Supersport United. Royal AM will take on Skakuni United, who are currently in action against St. Eloy Limpopo in the CAF Confederation Cup. And then, whilst Royal AM will get a rest next weekend, the MTN8 semi-final second legs, Kaizer Chiefs will be back at it against Mamelodi Sundowns. Pushing to Castillo, who's already had some degree of success from range so far, denied only by the woodwork as Ashley Dupree is forced backwards here. Down for Gonzalez, and possession turned over to the visitors. This is Sitole. Remember, just his second ever senior start. Taylor, another who has had to really step up this season. He darts past one or two there.
Very brave, very straightforward. That's what you want from a winger, to be able to force and pin the defenders down, and especially knowing that you do have a team that is defensively very solid. You need to have those players.
Now some space for Sitole to measure the cross in. Oh! That shaved the side netting by the head of Rizek Gamaldeen.
And we spoke earlier in the first half that we spoke about Msimango and Bitloko not doing enough. But look at the ball there inside the box there.
Yeah.
There's a space, and Gamaldeen, he just found himself just in between Msimango and Bitloko. And that's the space that you want to be as a striker. You don't want to be marked or position yourself in a position where one defender will be able to mark you.
Well, on the flank, not nearly enough pressure on the ball carrier. Yeah. A lot of time for Sitole to measure in a pinpoint accurate cross. Now Kaizer Chiefs have an opportunity at the other end. Robo gets gloves on that. It will fall to the edge of the area. Castillo's thrashed at it. And it's a weak connection. Simango to Mart. Svisotlanti. Players assembled in the 18-yard area. And another cross from Pulimori, not effective enough. And there was a lot of pressure on him. He couldn't get it into the area as cleanly as he would have liked, with the hulking figure of Gonzalez waiting.
I guess also from the player personnel, the characteristics of the players. I think the players as well from the Kaizer Chiefs, they need to also understand and learn how to play with Gonzalez being on the pitch, because he is a target man. When Dupreus is there, you can play that counter-pressing and a counter-attack type of football. But with Dupreus, you need to, with Gonzalez rather, when he's on the ball, you need midfielders to come closer to be able to get that touch from him, because I feel like at times he holds on to the ball a long time.
Konika to Matlow. First start of the season for George Matlow. He only has one goal in senior football in South Africa. That came all the way back in 2019 for Cape United against the side that would become Royal AM, Real Kings. That was, of course, in the first division as Modi takes it on. He's worked the space. Modi lets fly. And that is most certainly not his best effort.
Yeah, I think his challenge was trying to get it to use his laces, and that's a wrong technique, especially when you're across the pitch. You need to use the inside foot to be able to have a little bit of a curler there, and you can see how disappointed he is with himself.
I think it's something we'll see plenty more of this season. Modi launching from range. Scored 2 long-range goals in one game last season, a 4-0 win against Swallows. It saw Dylan Kerr promptly sacked. So with Kaizer Chiefs again, and Modi now Flanty. Stabbed through for Modi again. There he comes. Modi rides the challenge, keeps going. It's been forced all the way to the opposite flank. They'll reset with Msimango.
Good defensive work there from Ruddy M to make sure that they just close that line that way he wants to shoot and force him out, force him off target. And they saw what happened against Stellis. They saw that with time and space outside the box there, he's very deadly. So you need to make sure that if you're late, just close the passing, just hold the line where he's supposed to actually take that shot.
Sitole in the end was the player to have kept a close eye on him as he looked to pull the trigger. Kamini's done well to steal it. And Yadi closed down, operating in some very tight spaces here on Royal AM. They've given the ball away. They do get it away from immediate danger here. It will be a Kaizer Chiefs throw-in. Ten minutes of the second half has gone by already. Here's Modi, sets up for Marks. That was off target, but blocked. Coming into this game on the back of 2 wins, but also 2 clean sheets in the league. Kaizer Chiefs 3-0 over Amazulu, 2-0 over Stellenbosch. They have an opportunity for 3 successive league clean sheets for the first time in over a year and a half, if you can believe that. The last time they managed 3 clean sheets on the trot was from December 2021 with a win over Maritzburg United, and then after the Africa Cup of Nations, a 0-0 draw with Cape Town City and a 1-0 win over Baraka in February of 2022. So if they were able to match that, emulate that 18 months on, I think it would speak to, of course, the settled nature of the defence, who held out incredibly well against Mamelodi Sundowns in the MTN 8 semi-final first leg until injury time when Kalisa Modal was able to score.
And I think also Peterson as well. I think has been outstanding for Kaizer Chiefs. And as for a team like Kaizer Chiefs, you need some sort of consistency. You need to be able to win 3-4 games in a row in order for you to be able to challenge for the league, to challenge for honors, and that's what you need. You assemble a good team like Kaizer Chiefs the way that they are this season, and that's what you need, that momentum. And once you get it there, it will become a very difficult team to beat.
Trying to plot a way forward. Hlanti looking to roll that into the path of Matlo. Now the ball has not gone out, so Royal AM have an opportunity if numbers can join the attack quickly here. Ele gets past Mart, slips it through, well intercepted by Sfiso Hlanti. Stuck out a boot crucially as Rizek Hamaldin looked to latch onto that ball.
Clever play from Kaizer, isn't it? Cuts in there, faking that shot and then trying to play that ball, but cleverly defending there from Hlanti.
And a lovely ball here to free Pule Mori. Dupre and Mart, Kunika. Yusuf Mart again. Thought about the shot, eventually does launch one. And here's Matlo. Flicked over the top. Novo comes and claims strongly.
I think that's one area that Kaizer Chiefs needs to fix, especially looking at the stats that they had in the first half. With all those opportunities, unable to hit the target. Second half, they need to try better if actually they want to try and win this game.
Now, Hamaldin's been released here. Forced out wide, though, tracked by Simango. Sitole. Ele. Two academy players combined. Still Taylor. Well intercepted. Kaizer Chiefs might have an opportunity here. Well, cut out by Kuberi. Good reading of the game. Now it's been intercepted by Castillo. Has options alongside him. Gonzalez. Angle against him. And the back heel. Trying to get it into the path of Ashley Dupre. The Kaizer Chiefs have already scored a wonderful goal that involved a back heel in the build-up to Botsani. With a back heel into the path of Pulemori against Amazulu.
And right here at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mate being silly. He knew the ball was gone already. And also it's very difficult to defend, kind of see how small frame he is. Very quick and nippy. It becomes very difficult to defend against him.
AM have already made one injury enforced change. That was in the first half, Kuberi for Mabuza. But they are preparing to make a double swap here. Kaizer Chiefs themselves are looking to tinker with the lineup. So for Royal AM, Sedwin George, a big striker, will be introduced for Rizek Hamaldin, whilst Fundo Tikazi will make way here for Aibelela Makwele. And he's a player that's capable of turning it on. Makwele came through the development structures of Sundowns and Maritzburg United. Originally hails from Rustenburg.
And I guess for Tigasi, right, I think it's that conversation that still continues. How great he was last season, coming in from the bench as an impact player, and now this season he's getting opportunities to start. He's unable to get that momentum going, and I think it's something that of a concern that the coach needs to start looking at, and also the player himself.
What is it about certain players that just makes them so much more effective? coming from the bench than they are whenever they start.
I think also the difficulties of when you start is everybody's fresh.
Yeah.
So you don't come in as a substitute where everybody starts and then you can actually come and be able to change the game.
Gonzalez gets away from Dlamini initially. He's fed Ashley Dupree. Ashley Dupree swung it in. Here's Castillo. And again on the edge of the area. Pulls the trigger. It's a fierce effort. But it is wide of the mark.
Yeah, that target is still eluding them in the second half. But there's a lot of positive work from Kaizer Chiefs in the second half. You can see they're trying those shots outside the box. And you can see even here, Castillo, but also there were still members of Kaizer Chiefs in a run. I think you can circulate the ball better and try and create those opportunities again. I think that's the frustration of maybe that's the conversation that they had at the halftime. We need to have shots on target. We need to score goals.
Something Wazi mentioned yesterday's game between Richards Bay and Morocco Swallows is that Swallows, having ended the game without a shot on target, with just the third team this season to finish the game, having not tested the goalkeeper. As this one is hoisted forward and hoofed away. The Kaizer Chiefs could join that category because they still are yet to make an effort on goal. Here's a look at Ayanda Giannis, a player who actually debuted this season. He came off the bench against Orlando Pirates earlier in the campaign and then has made one start since then. He's acquitted himself very well this evening. Matloto Modi. Now Ditlokwe. Kunika. Ditlokwe has located Castillo. Pule Modi. I'll be expecting a cross from that left-hand flank. Matlo. Modi. Look where Kunika is. Now floated in. Gonzalez! Oh, he had to time that jump to perfection. As we've already mentioned, Nobo not the tallest goalkeeper.
And the Kaizer Chiefs haven't played enough crosses inside the box. Look at that lift, look at that jump there. Perfect. And what a great save as well from Ngobo, being able to shift, and that footwork is so important because he had to move as quickly as possible. Look at the power behind that header as well, and I think it's been misused. I think in the first half they could have played more balls inside the box to be able to use this area of strength.
Well, that was his last contribution. He's hooked off as part of a triple change that also sees Kunika and Modi depart, and we will introduce you to Shabalala Frosler and Christian Saile. We did speculate that Saile would make an appearance later in this game. That is indeed the case. The Kaizer Chiefs have now hit the target and have an opportunity from this corner kick. Noble rises for it, plucked out of the air by a goalkeeper who's been on song this afternoon. Whenever he's been called upon, I think he's done really well. There's been a few balls floated in towards the back post where you might have thought he was second to get there, but gets it in his clutches. Now given away. Oh, crucial recovery for Kaizer Chiefs. Shabalala slips as he's about to receive, and his pass just not strong enough to locate Dupree.
Yeah, that's that miscommunication. I think the ball was played so early before the stroker can actually open his body up. But with Raleigh in there, they could have done better with that stealing the ball there.
Kaizer Chiefs did endure a rather poor start to this season and a very poor end to the last campaign. Before they got victory over AmaZulu, they won a 6-game winless run that was dating back to last season. They won only one of their last 9 games. So coming into this game, with back-to-back league wins is a fairly significant turnaround as Frostler's flagged for offside.
Also with the saps that Coach Nteki has made, you can see Frostler trying to add more numbers going forward and add more width as well, because he's a very advanced fullback that wants to go up and down with no problem. And also maybe when he's up there, you can actually pull Saile from the right hand side to become a double striker with him and Dupreez, just to add more numbers in and around the box.
Renam doing a good job of shutting out Kaizer Chiefs currently. And being defensively sound on their travels is not something that they are particularly known for. Just one clean sheet in the league last season on their travels, and that came in their final away game, 0-0 draw with Richards Bay. And actually, since they arrived in the top flight, Royal AM have kept just 3 clean sheets in 32 away games.
That's a bad record.
Yeah. Saile.
There's something that I'm picking up the way Kaizer Chiefs are playing, contrary to what the coach said earlier on. They've been working on their positional play. And you look at Kaizer Chiefs, whenever they were dangerous in their previous games, it was because of that transitional play. They're playing forward very quickly, they use the speed, Putsane, Modi, Dupreez at times as well. But you look at today, they want to be positional based. And then look at the time, they haven't hit the target. I think that's the switch, the break that they had in the international break. This is what they've been working on, just to have more position on the ball. Maybe that's why the inclusion of Moklo in that midfield.
Now the flag was raised promptly with Mele steaming forwards. Let's have another look at this.
Oh, he's onside.
Well onside.
Yeah.
No, it's the first time that Royal AM have been caught offside today, and it absolutely was not the correct decision. Yusuf Mart, as the man hadn't stepped up quite quick enough.
Yeah.
It's in Castillo. Finding Frostler in an advanced area. Yusuf Mart now quickly forward for Saile. Frostler again. That's a lovely ball for Ashley Dupreez. Now Dupreez for Saile! Denied by the woodwork. With Shabalala now. Long ball with the save.
The game is alive. What a perfect run there from Dupreez. Look at that half moon run. Mangani playing him onside. Dupreez making sure that he's more calm inside the box. Saile using the right technique. It's just unfortunate there they couldn't hit the back of the net. But also a great second save there from Novo from the Chabalala shot.
Well, it was a lovely ball from Frostler as well.
Yeah.
To locate Ashley Dupreez, to spot him making that run.
Yeah.
And save now, being denied by the woodwork a couple of times. It's reminding me of last night. Richards Bay did win that game, but they themselves had a situation where I think in one particular move the ball touched the woodwork 3 times, and then again later touched both uprights. So far in the DSTV Premiership this weekend, we've seen the furniture involved quite frequently.
And I always speak about Dupreez, you know how dangerous he is with those runs. I don't think there's any player in the PSL that makes such dangerous runs that he does, the timing that he has. And also it's always surprising for me to see him being used in different positions. To get the best out of him, you need to play him in his best position. And I think he's one of the most dangerous players in the league, especially with those runs over the shoulder. His timing is always perfect.
Four saves now for Novo. His recent intervention denying Shabalala from close range. I think probably the pick of the saves would be clawing out that headed effort from Gonzalez. It was destined for the top corner.
That was a wonderful save there. And his footwork was important. He had to shift it quickly to be able to make that save.
The very beginning of last season, the very first game of last season, their very first games, these two sides met. Royal were at home. Nascimento scored basically on the minute mark, and that's the goal that separated the two sides at the end of 90 minutes. As Royal now look to carve out an opportunity that's looped up rather awkwardly. It's away by Yusuf Mart. This is the latest into a meeting between Chiefs and Royal that it has remained goalless. Their last league meeting, it took until the hour mark rather, for Spiso Hlanti to open the scoring. Now we have just over a quarter hour remaining here at the FNB Stadium.
I think he got away with that because you could see Makwede was just raising his hands, showing the referee that I'm not impeding him. And I think Shabalala just trying to draw the foul there. And always unfortunate whenever you get those wrong, especially in around the box. You don't want to do that. You always want to play safe.
Good strong header clear from Mart. So with Royal Simango with the header to Frosler. Kaizer Chiefs are yet to be shut out at the FNB this stadium this season. They've led to a 0-0 draw against Chipper in their first game, as Brandon Peterson gobbles that up. But that was a home game in name, but it was in Durban. So George holds it up nicely, and that shot was always bending away from goal from Makwede.
Another mistake again, Grant, from Kaizer Chiefs, with Peterson unable to play the ball correctly to Ditlhokwe. Was intercepted. This has resulted into this, and I think they need to figure things out between Ditlhokwe and Peterson as to how is it that you want them to play the ball, because this is the second ball that has been stolen, trying to play from that left side of defense.
It has looked a little sloppy at times.
Yeah.
A dozen efforts for Kaizer Chiefs, just 4 that have hit the target. Royal 2 of their 8 attempts have been on target so far. 25%. The Chiefs about 33% of their shots on targets. Fairly even in the first half in terms of possession, not so the case in the second. Kaizer Chiefs just having a little more of the ball.
They upped the tempo a little bit as well, because I think it's the first half, I think there was more possession for the sake of possession. There wasn't penetrating enough to go forward to try and create goals.
A game that's been fairly clean sees Sapelo Sitole going into the referee's book. Card stayed in the pockets of Olani Kunde inside the first few minutes of the game, where Kaizer Gonzalez, on the occasion of his first Chiefs start, put his studs into the ankle of an opponent and got away with it.
Very fortunate to be
very fortunate to
play.
Because Kusapila Ngobo standing by. For the time being, it's Tuzi Shabalala who delivers it in. Away with urgency by Royal AM. Chiefs searching for back-to-back home wins in the league for the first time since the beginning of last season, when they got wins against Maritzburg United and Richards Bay in successive home games. Actually, that win against Amazulu that they're coming into this game on the back of it, just in terms of home games, snapped a 4-game winless run on their own patch as Ngobo is now introduced. George Matlock making way. It's in Castillo. Frosler. Deprier. And it will be just a goal kick.
Yeah, the ref is not buying it. I think he realized that Deprier, after losing the ball, that's when he decided to take that dive, but also it was equally dangerous as well from Manganyi to be able to tackle like that. But those are the type of tackles that you don't need, especially in and around the box, where Kaizer Chiefs has an area of strength that can actually punish you.
A yellow card brandished in the direction of Olani Ngobo for a bit of time wasting. Healthy competition between he and Mboto this season, but he does seem to have taken over as the out-and-out number one while they await the return of Nyame, and it'll be pretty hard to dislodge him on the back of today's performance.
Surely as well, Ngobo would want to continue with this form that he has today. I think a little bit of consistency as well, but you want, as a team, as a coach, you want to have a healthy competition, especially from the goalkeeping department. And with Nyam, we all know that he was the favorite choice. He was the number one choice for Royal AM for a couple of seasons.
Ele in a race to get there against Slanty. It's the latter who wins it. Deprier able to get it out of his feet to Frosler.
From George, but also from Kele as well. Your winger also on the other side. I think it was Sitolo. You want them to be at least to rush inside the box, but they're so young, inexperienced as well. You need the players to get into that, especially with that awkward angle that George was in. You need players to take that gamble, get inside the box.
Picked off by Ditlokwe. Slanty. Shabalala. Saile collects. Big opportunity to stretch his legs, making a dart down the flank. Good opportunity, missed. How on earth has he not at least hit the target here?
The disbelief from the fans and the player himself, Deprier, positioning himself very well there. All you need there is just that contact there. Very, very difficult ball to get it right, but once you get it right, it always results into a goal. You can see how disappointed he was. But those are the clever runs that Deprier will give you just behind the goalkeeper. But there, Deprier could have done better, should have done better. That ball could be in the back of the net for Kaizer Chiefs.
I wonder if perhaps there was also just the slightest hint of offside.
Yep.
He was in front of the ball. He also appeared to be in front of the man. So
correct.
They could have resulted in what might have been a contentious goal. And it is wide, and quite some way wide from Ashley Deprier, who didn't get the right contact at all. We saw the intention, of course.
Yep.
Just open his body and use the pace of the delivery.
Yeah.
Didn't come off for him. Royal AM, though, have gotten a great cross. Oh. Chances are coming in this final 10 minutes. Sedwin George, did he get maybe the faintest of touches on that?
Yeah, and also Mukhaila. We haven't seen Mukhaila in that position in a while during this game, but also good positioning there from George.
More than a faint touch, he redirects it towards goal. Mukhaila with the cross. And they've got 2 assists in their previous outing. And the visitors have a corner here. Good strong work from Sabelo Sitole.
Yeah, he's put in a shift today, Sitole.
Yeah.
Having a great game on the left-hand side, not only just defensively, but offensively he gives so much depth for Royal AM going forward.
So he'll be providing a lot of good competition for a soon-to-be returning Matlaba. Royal AM have a couple of players out with what about Kaizer? He wasn't even on international duty with Lesotho. Benzi Masuku still working his way to fitness. Neba Mashiani. So they do have players waiting to be reintroduced. Not the best corner. And it does appear now, with the transfer window set to close next week Friday, that Royal AM will not resolve their issues with Samir Nukovic unless they make a surprising late turn, and therefore this will be the squad that contends for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and I'm sure if that's the case, if they're unable to sign stills, I think it's going to be very challenging to the players, to the coach as well, because you need to be able to compete in this league. It has shown us season after season you need depth, and depth in quality as well, because we know that the second round of the season is always the difficult one, where you need top players to show up.
Yusuf Marks, tracked by Mangani. Space for Frosler. Measures a ball in. Saile. Well, he helped keep it alive. That's with Royal AM again. Sidwin George holding it up. Tlokwe on his back. Fizzed across field for Pele. Frosler thwarts him. Give him Simango now. Kosbile Ngobo. Kaizer Chiefs need to show some real urgency. They are the home team here, being held by Royal AM.
I think you need to have a plan when you're playing positional football. You're drawing the opponents to the ball to be able to create space on the other side, or to create space for the players that are actually making those runs. And you can see Kaizer Chiefs today, they are more ball orientated. They have good numbers around the ball, but they don't have that final part that will actually, engage the two periods, because you've got the player that has speed. Saile that has been brought on, he has the speed, but they haven't been engaged in terms of just trying to turn that defense around.
Oh, they have the ball again, having given it away rather cheaply. With Castillo and Shabalala on the same wavelength a little earlier on. Here is Marks. Novo. Shabalala, Frosler. Not the best cross from Hlanti. This time he gives it to Marks. He's back with the fullback. Saile, no foul. That's a slightly late whistle, and he pulls up.
Yeah, that's a push. If only he used his body just to try and protect and open himself up to allow the ball to roll through, he could have had an opportunity to go through and go.
Well, Kaizer Chiefs, their record at home to KZN teams in recent times, the last 10 matches, they've won only 5 of those, losing 3. Actually lost both their previous visits from Lamontville Golden Arrows over that period. Then you look at Royal AM though, where last season, their 10 league games against Gauteng sides, they picked up just 1 win, and that was against Kaizer Chiefs. They collected only 5 points from a possible 30. On the road, they collected just 1 point from the available 15, which was the 1-1 draw against Orlando Pirates, who they've already lost to this season. So they're not good travellers to this region of the world, but they are holding Kaizer Chiefs here as the corner's flung in. Repelled, at least for the time being, will be retrieved here by Ngobo. Mart. Ngobo again. Frosler all the way back to Peterson. they'll make a late alteration here, will Royal AM. And Spirit Lele will be the player hooked off, allowing Bandile Dlamini to enter the fray. Still looking to force his way forward. Hasn't gone out. A minute of regulation time remains. May have an opportunity here, and a good one. Oh, cracked towards goal. That's that one wide of the mark. They've just introduced Dlamini, who's yet to feature this season, having debuted last term with a couple of minutes off the bench, just 19 years of age.
We spoke about how many youngsters that Coach Maduka will be able to introduce, and the sooner the better, because the season is so long. You want them to acclimatize to the pace of the game and what is expected in the PSL. And we'll see a lot of them actually coming to become, as much as it is, you know, most will say it's under the bus, but we'll see most of them developing such a strong character at an early age. And you want to see players at 19, 20 years being able to play in the PSL.
Oh, he looked confident, at least trying to take on that opportunity. Here he is again, Dlamini. First minutes of the season, trapped by Frosler and dispossessed by Rui Frosler. We are now into 4 minutes of additional time here at the FNB Stadium. This particular tie has never ended 0-0. 4 league meetings, 1 cup meeting. Every single one of them has produced goals. Although only their very first league meeting was a game in which both teams scored. Both sides managed to net in their solitary cup clash though. Here's Maat. Shabalala always appeared to be offside.
I think he made that run way too early before Frosler was in control of the ball. Matt rather was in control of the ball, so he was offside.
Appeared to be a push from behind. Free kick for Royal AM, late into proceedings. The former Chiefs man who was only here for a season and a half. It was quite a disrupted stay at Kaizer Chiefs. Kabela Matlasela is the man who goes down. He'll have a vital role to play this season as one of the senior players. Scored only 1 goal last term though, so perhaps that's where I'll be looking for him to contribute a little bit more.
Especially remember when Raleigh AM were a team that they really don't give up. They always score late. He was so instrumental in those times, Matlasela. I think that's where we actually started seeing his true potential that we couldn't see at Kaizer Chiefs when he was there.
Now, not so much with the late goals last season, but in their first season in the top flight under John Maduka, 10 instances where they scored 90 minutes or beyond. That's a fair distance away from goal, and Sedwin George has not been able to get that ball to dip. in the way that he would have liked. Under 90 seconds to play. Royal AM had every single one of their players available to them, barring injury, of course, besides injury over the international break. Kaizer Chiefs had just 3 players who were out on international duty, but it doesn't always work out for teams just in terms of maintaining their momentum or improving based on what they've been able to do during that break. It certainly worked for Richards Bay yesterday, not so much for Swallows. There might be one final twist here. Yusuf Mart, Tumsimango, they have to get it forward now. Final whistle at the FNB Stadium. First time that these two sides have drawn 0-0. They come away with just a point apiece. Both will move to 8 points on the log standings. And considering that so many teams have games in hand, it's not really a very true reflection of how things might shape up long term, with very few points separating sides in the history of the DStv Premiership clash between Kaizer Chiefs and Royal AM. And the big reason for that has to be the man standing next to me, Xolani Wangcobo, the man of the match this evening, goalkeeper for Royal AM. Congratulations on today's performance. Weren't tested too much today, but when you were called upon to action, you really stood up for your team.
Yes, I would like to thank God and my family. They're always supporting me, and I would like to thank the coaches to give me the opportunity to showcase my talent. And I think we work very well as a team, and it's not about me, it's about our team and the technical team. We tried our best to plan, and I think our plan worked very well. If we don't score, we must not concede, and the coach told us that we must do the right thing.
Now, you've got a pretty special position as goalkeeper when you're watching in front of you some of the defensive work that the team is doing. Historically, in the last couple of weeks, there have been some mistakes that Coach John Maduka alluded to. How did you feel defensively you guys did today?
I think this time we went back when we were playing cheaper, and then after that game, the coach came back with us, and then he told us that let's go and fix the defense, and then we were doing the shifting very well. I think we did very well as a team because we didn't concede, and I'm also happy, and I'm sure the technical team is very happy also.
You're back as the number 1 at the moment, having seen Umondli Mpoto come ahead of you when the season started. You enjoying the responsibility that's been given to you?
Yes, I'm enjoying very much because the support that I get to our teammates, it's amazing. So I think it's all about our goalkeeping department. We must work very hard because last season we didn't do very well, and now when we started we conceded so many goals. So we must try by all means to keep the clean sheet for us. It's a good thing. So I think everyone is safe when we don't concede because we have an opportunity to get chances and we couldn't score. But I'm happy because I kept the clean sheet again.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
There is the man of the match, Xolani Wangcobo. Another clean sheet for Royal AM, which means now 3 matches unbeaten for Twihle Twatla after a wretched start to the campaign. Alongside me, the visiting coach, Coach John Maduka. Coach, thank you very much for joining me. What do you make of how the team fronted up today?
Very tactical game. They had their moments, we had our moments. First half, we knew that, it's a team that is very, very dangerous in transition whenever they win the ball. So they allowed us, to have the ball in our defensive area so that when we try to go forward, as soon as, they get the ball, they go forward. I think which first half we did very well. Again, we made some mistakes that, would have been punished with those mistakes because they've got good players, going forward. But also we had also our moments because whenever they go forward, they do go forward with numbers and leaving the wide area opens, which, in the first half we did manage, to use that. I think Tikazi clearly had an opportunity. Second half, more of open game. They took the game to us. We sat there, but we had moments that, whenever we come out from there, we managed also to create those chances, only that maybe in front of goal, we're not sharp enough. But they had their moments, we had also our moments.
A lot of those moments for Royal AM came in that second half where there was a bit more consistency in the number of box entries, and it seemed to happen once you brought Cedric George into the game, perhaps a bit of a target man that the rest of the team could actually aim at.
Yes, it was expected. It was expected, and when we put George, because we knew that we wanted him to hold the ball a little bit longer, so that we allow Masasela, Tseles, Aya, all those, Sitole, to be able to join, because I think that's one thing we didn't do it right first half, whereby whenever we play the ball forward, we could not keep it longer, then it ended up, coming back, to us. But second half, you're absolutely right that, we had those moments because George could hold on to the ball a little bit longer, allow us, to join him and get into those good scoring situations.
We've got another game midweek. Let's talk about the injury-enforced change you had to make just before half-time.
Yeah, we had to make those changes. We've got another game in 2-3 days' time. We have to try and manage the players that, before that game, everyone is recovered. And it's very important for us, playing at home. It's very important, to have everyone, available for selection.
All the best then, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
There is Coach John Matuka. Certainly will be happier with how things are looking at the moment for Royal AM. It's because it's another clean sheet for them, and indeed still yet to be beaten now in a run of 3 matches. Alongside me, Coach Molefi Nteki. Coach, thank you very much for your time. What did you make of today's performance?
I think an improved performance in terms of our ball possession, and I think we created enough chances to win this game. The unfortunate part was the decision making on the ball in terms of putting the ball behind the net, because I think we were rushing in front of goals, but the overall performance, I think we did very well in terms of creating those scoring opportunities. But I think it is something that we can work on. I'm not going to be hard on them in terms of the total performance, but I think the most important thing is for us to create those chances and score, because you win games by scoring goals.
Yeah, there are a number of opportunities that Chiefs did get to get behind the Royal AM defense, and did that with some ease. The issue of scoring, the issue of decision making, as you put it, is that a coachable problem, or is it something that maybe some of these players need to take responsibility for individually?
I think it's coachable. It's coachable because when you do finishing exercises, it is not only on the technical side of it, but also on the tactical side of it, to understand in which areas of the field the defenders will be and the positioning of the goalkeeper. But the most important thing is the execution, the technical execution. But I think mentally it also plays a big role, because you need to be composed, you need to know where you're scoring, you need to take advantage of those chances.
Before I let you go, quick thoughts on the 2 players that started for the first time today, Gonzalez as well as Umatlu, who got more than 70 minutes today?
I think they did well. They did well. It's just a matter of time for them to understand and to have a clear tactical cohesion in terms of the runs they make, and when they do those runs, how do we connect with them? I think it's something that we can work on, and the next game they will obviously be better.
All the best for them, Coach.
Thank you.
Coach Molefi Nteki. Speaking of the next game, he says they will be better. SuperSport United are going to be hosting Kaizer Chiefs midweek next week. That is how we then wrap up the post-match presentation here. After this short break, we are going to have a look at the moments that highlighted this goalless draw between Amakhosi and Twihlitwahle.